Alright, so this is the review for American Crime Season 2, Episode 6. Yeah, so the episode starts off with, Eric, who's at home, and, his brother isn't talking to him because, remember, his brother's the one that found him, when he tried to commit suicide, and so that must be hard for him. His brother's so pissed at him also because his mom is over the fact that, about, allegedly what he did. So he goes out, he takes the car, he goes out, and he clears his head by playing basketball. Just by himself, going to the gym and playing basketball. So after that, you have Leslie, who he knows the dean. She's off and trying to convince this guy. Well, actually, I'm fast forwarding. Before that, you have the coach, who's trying to explain that essentially Eric is coming back and that we need to support him because he didn't say it, but this dude just tried to commit suicide. It's being alleged that he raped someone, and now everyone knows that he's gay. So, yeah, that's a lot. And the coach is even uncomfortable because it's like, damn, how the hell am I gonna deal with this type of situation? And Leslie's talking to this guy who is a part of the school, and the guy wants to do a settlement. Leslie knows that a settlement won't work. She's just trying to figure out how the hell she's going to make this work. Because she knows she's the master at spinning things. Eric is back at home. And his father's trying to open up the lines of communications. And Eric's over it. He's just like, yeah, whatever. And so then when he actually looks like he wants to talk, his father backs off. It's like, yeah, nothing. Never mind. And so it's like, alright, get ready for school. Eric's brother's like, no, I'm not riding in the car with him. His father's like, what are you talking about? It's like, no, I'm not riding in a car with him. And so Eric says, I'll find a way to school. It's like, no, it's like, I'll find a way to school. Just take him to school. Just take him. So, yeah, there is a lot of bad blood right now. Anna is off trying to figure out. Anna said that she wouldn't go and do exactly what she's doing. She's still trying to pursue the case. Of course, why wouldn't she? But Taylor doesn't know that as of now. Anna's trying to figure out what angle she can use and what angle she can work. The attorney's saying, look, right now, you don't have a case. Maybe you can get a settlement. She's like, no, I want the truth to come out. And it's like, oh, I want the truth to come out. The attorney's like, you know what? All right, that's what we'll go with. That's what we'll go with. At some point. Right now, you still don't have a case. So, Taylor is off with the guy who, I guess this is the guy that he originally had a relationship with, whatever. And he's just talking about how he's trying to act normal. The guy's essentially acting normal as if nothing really happened. The guy pretty much said, you know what? You know nothing happened. You know nothing happened. You know how you like it. You like it rough. And so he even like put his hand on his throat and it was like, see, that's what you like. And Taylor was like, no. It's like, no, you got a party, you got messed up, and you got caught. And now you're trying to spin it. Stop playing. And that's how everyone feels. So I'm actually glad this guy said that because Taylor, unfortunately for Taylor, it's just reaffirming what's going on in his life. It's like no one can believe that someone who says that he likes this and that is now saying crying rape. It's messed up and it's unfair. I don't want anyone to think that I think that that's right. No, I don't think that's right. I'm just saying that's how the world sees it. And so Taylor decides that he's not going to stay over. No, he has to go. And that was probably the smart decision because as of right now, he does not need to be caught up with being anywhere he shouldn't be. So Eric's dad, of course, taking his son to school, to the lower income school, and there's still the protests of the Hispanics or Hispanic, Latin student body base. They're there and they're protesting. Dad's like, yo, what the hell is going on? It's like, don't worry about it. It's like, no, I should walk you in. It's like, well, you didn't care all of this week, so why would you care now? And it's pretty messed up. It's like, yeah, that is true. Eric must have been occupying all of his time and effort, so it's like, oh, so you have an interest in the kid who's not special. that's a change. I think that's the angle he was working. But Taylor is still in therapy, and he's trying to, again, say what's on his mind and say how no one really believes him and what happened to him and what he should do. The therapist is like, write it down. Write it all down how you're feeling. If you don't feel like you're not being heard, write it down so that at least everything that you feel can be transferred into something. So that's always a good idea. Leslie is speaking with counsel again, and her lawyer's like, look, you might have to settle because this chick is not stopping. This press is really bad. You have one student of ours who's being accused of raping the other one, and this isn't going to end well. I don't know what you're thinking. I don't know what world you live in. This isn't going to end well. Nope, not at all. So Leslie's just like, oh, no, I'll figure something else out first. Anna is speaking with Evie's dad. Evie's dad is over because he's like, look, your son played my daughter. Now you want me to have her help him? She's like, yeah, she's the only witness. She's the only one who's really credible at this point. And so essentially his answer's mixed. It's kind of a mixture of hell no and possibly maybe. We'll see. So he goes and leaves because he has to go to work. She's frustrated because she feels like no one's on her side. Now the principal at the lower income school is still having to deal with all of the Hispanic kids protesting, and they're thinking because he's black, he's taking the side of the guy who got stomped out. And I'm like, wait a minute. So this guy got stomped out, and you guys are trying to say it's not fair that the 3 kids who did so were suspended? Really? Really? And it's interesting to see that different dynamics between race relations within other communities. Really interesting, because we always focus on black and white, but what about when a school is predominantly black and predominantly Hispanic, Latino, Mexican? What happens there? In this case, nothing good if one group has an issue with the other. So you have Eric delivering this really shaky speech about how he's just so happy and proud to finally present himself the way that he wants to be presented, or he's always wanted to be presented, in this absolutely fake and fraudulent speech. And everyone there is just like, no, then yeah, I guess this is fine. We don't really care. Why are we here? Type of thing. Oh, poor Eric. No, I don't feel bad for him. But if he just cut the whole alpha male type of thing, then we'd be good. Yeah, and Leslie, who I said is the dean, she's just trying to really reinforce. It's like, you know, maybe if we can go and spin this, we can continue to clear your name. And he's just like, okay, yeah, sure. I just want to play basketball and be normal. And essentially she's like, no, that's not going to ever happen again. Not you playing basketball, but everything just being normal. So we skip forward into Taylor going back to his, I believe, his grandparents' house. And his grandpa's there, and he's just talking about how, you know, his mom is still not handling it well. And his grandpa's like, well, she's a lot better. It's like, yeah, she's a lot better, but things still aren't good. And he essentially is like, wait a minute, why didn't you just tell us? Why didn't you just be honest with us? And Taylor says, you know, remember those games we used to go to? Well, remember one time when you were at the game and you were using a lot of derogatory terms, not a lot of derogatory terms, but a derogatory term against gay people. Yeah, that's why I stopped going, because it felt like you were talking about me. And I'm like, oh, poor thing. Wham, poor thing. No, I'm just kidding. But yeah, so it makes sense on all sides. It was just like, yeah, this wasn't gonna work out. But you know who's really going through it? Eric's family, because his mom isn't having it. His dad is trying to pretend like everything's okay, but it's not. And it's an interesting dynamic to see because the roles are kind of reversed in this situation. Normally it's the other way around. So again, I think it's actually good to see this other perspective. And his mom is basically like, you know what? Sad to say, but I think it might have been better if we didn't find him, if he just completed what he was trying to do, as in kill himself, because at least he could have gone out with dignity. I'm like, what the what? And then she cries on his father's shoulders like, I'm just glad that, I wish that things could be different. We could press the reset button on life, on our relationship. And it's just like, yeah, of course that's understandable. That's not reality, but of course that's understandable. So Terry's trying to figure out what the hell she can do to get her son cleared. Because she's like, her son didn't do anything, but yeah, he did host the party. And the tradition about, what was it? The freshman whatever, where the freshman girls have sex with the senior guys. All of that culminates into, oh crap, he's screwed. He was the only one who was 18 at the party, and there's nothing they can do about it as far as clearing his name. But Terry isn't someone who takes no for an answer. So after that, you get to the scene of, I don't know who this guy is. Anyone can tell me who the hell this guy is and what his angle is? Because I was really trying to figure it out. But Terry goes and meets up with Anna at her place of work. And she's just like, you need to drop this case now. Your son didn't do anything, and now my son is being accused of something or in trouble. You need to drop this. You need to do this. You need to do that. And so then she was like, you need to go. That's what you need to do. You need to go. And that's what Terry does, because they're like, we're going to call the police. So she goes, and she's still waiting outside in the restaurant. I don't know if she was trying to cool off or if she was going to wait for her to get off her shift and approach Anna again. But the police were just like, yeah, registration please. And so she gave it to them. It was like, what's the problem? I didn't do anything. And I'm like, wait a minute, you didn't do anything. Did we just not get you going and harassing Anna at her place of work? But you didn't do anything. Okay, Terry, this isn't going to be a black and white thing. You did do something this time. Stop it. So she goes and cries on Andre's shoulder, and Eric meets up with this poet guy who's trying to work with him to spin this whole situation. Eric isn't feeling it. He's like, I'm just an athlete. Everything else is doesn't mean much. And it's like, yeah, I do this, but I'm not one of you. I'm not one of you. So the guy, of course, is really offended. And of course, I gave you a PG version of what that was. And he was just like, you know what? This kid, I can't. And Leslie says, can you just strike that from the interview? Strike that from the interview, because, you know, all of this is new to him. He was forced out. This would be better for all of us. With all of the stereotypes and things going on, we need to put out positive things instead of negative things. And he's just like, okay, I'll withhold it. I'll withhold it. So yeah, the principal at the lower income school, he's still going through it because the parents get him. They're just like, wait a minute. So you take back the lunch programs. You don't stick up for the Hispanic or Latino or Mexican student body bait. And he was just like, wait a minute. But they're the ones who actually jumped this kid. It was 3 against 1. Not even 3 against 1. It was 3 on 1. So how is that fair? How is that fair? And of course, because it's their kids, and the guy, the principal's black, and the other student was black, it was just like, you were showing favoritism. You were showing favoritism. You can't tell us any different. And the parents are rallying together, and the black parent, oh, he wasn't helping. He was not helping. He pretty much was just messing up things. He was just sounding ignorant. And I was just like, oh God, please shut up. Please shut up. I don't know if maybe he was that kid's father, and maybe that's why he had that viewpoint. But Eric is back on the basketball team. They have their first game since the whole allegations came out, and everyone in the crowd is just starting to mock Eric and the team. And it's like, oh, gay, oh, take the girls off of the court. Ah. And so that frustrates all of the players. And so when Eric tries to go and be included in what they're doing, they pretty much shun him. And so this is where the foolery happens in the episode. Eric goes and he gets baited by the rest of the team. They tell him, you know what? Why don't you call Taylor? We'll handle him. Because Eric was just like, damn it, this Taylor's a bitch. He's a B, and, you know, this is ridiculous. No, not Taylor. Kevin was like, he's a B, and my mom was like, they're only out for one thing. They're out for money. They're out for attention. They can whine all they want, and you can't do anything to them. But wait a minute. This one's a guy, so we can do something to him. So why haven't we? Well, get ready, folks, because he put those seeds. Remember, he's the captain, so he does have some type of influence over the rest of them. He unintentionally has them go and meet up with Eric, convince them that, yeah, you're still one of us, but call up Taylor and tell him to meet us at the rec center. Because you want him to speak. You want to clarify some things. You want to apologize. And of course, Eric is tossing and turning because he knows what they're about to do to Taylor, to teach him a lesson type of thing, and to stay quiet and don't pursue anything anymore. And of course, once you do something like that, you really piss the other person off, and it's game time. So I can't wait to see the fallout from that. I can't wait to see the fallout from that. And at the end, you have Andre, who's essentially lawyering up and saying, find out whatever you need to find out as far as, what's her name, Anna's concerned. Find out everything. We're going to bury her. We're going to destroy her image. Make sure that she doesn't want to pursue the case. Make sure that she drops everything. Make sure that she's not seen as credible. And I'm like, damn. So that was it. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Come back next week.